Picture this. You walk into the living room of your childhood home, the air heavy with the sound of your mother's labored breathing in the next room. She doesn't have much time left, and your heart is already weighed down with grief. But then, like a gut punch, you discover something that nearly knocks the air out of your chest. Your sister, your own flesh and blood, has drained every cent from your mother's savings account. Money that was supposed to cover care, dignity, peace in her final days, gone. And when you confront her, she looks you dead in the eyes, calm as if nothing happened, and says, "Don't be dramatic. Mom should be happy she even has a roof." That's where my story begins. And if you've ever been betrayed by someone you thought you could trust, then you already know the storm of emotions that came rushing through me. Rage, disbelief, sadness so deep it felt like my chest was collapsing in on itself. I wanted to scream, to shake her, to demand how she could possibly justify stealing from the woman who had given us everything. But she didn't flinch. She sat there with her arms folded, her lips curled into a smug little smile, as if she had already won. Growing up, my mom had always defended her. No matter how many times she messed up, no matter what rules she broke, Mom always found an excuse. "She's just going through a phase," she'd say. Or, "She doesn't mean it that way." Meanwhile, I was expected to keep the peace, to be the strong one, to understand that my sister just wasn't like me. I swallowed my resentment for years, thinking maybe Mom saw something in her I didn't. But in that moment, with the weight of our mother's life hanging over us, I finally saw the truth. My sister wasn't misunderstood. She was selfish, and this time, she had crossed a line that couldn't be undone. I remember my hands trembling as I stood there, trying to find words. My voice cracked when I asked, "How could you? She trusted you." And she shrugged, leaned back in her chair, and said, "It's not like she's going to need it when she's gone." The casual cruelty in her tone lit a fire inside me. For the first time in my life, I wasn't going to just take it. I wasn't going to let her steal not only my mom's money but also her dignity. The next few weeks were a blur of anger and desperation. Mom's health was fading, and I didn't want her to leave this world without knowing the truth. But at the same time, I couldn't bring myself to break her heart. She loved my sister too much. And maybe, just maybe, some part of me still hoped my sister would make things right. But she didn't. Instead, she acted like the queen of the house, strutting around as though draining Mom's life savings had given her some twisted crown. She even had the audacity to tell me I should be grateful, because at least she was handling things. That was the breaking point. Something inside me snapped, and I decided I wasn't going to wait for karma. I was going to deliver it myself. The first step was simple: information. I combed through Mom's paperwork, every bank statement, every insurance document. I dug until I found exactly what I needed: proof. Not just vague accusations, not just suspicion. Hard evidence that my sister had forged Mom's signature to transfer funds. She thought she was clever, but her arrogance left a trail. Once I had the evidence, I started planning. Revenge isn't just about payback, it's about timing, precision, making sure the fall is so hard they never see it coming. I waited until the family gathered for what we knew might be one of Mom's last birthdays. The house was full of relatives, cousins, aunts, uncles, people my sister always tried to impress. She loved playing the role of the golden child, the selfless daughter. And I let her make her little speech about how she had been taking care of Mom, how she had sacrificed so much. My blood boiled as I watched people nod, some even clapping. And then it was my turn. I stood up, my hands shaking, my voice barely steady. I pulled out the folder I had kept hidden and laid it on the table. "You want to talk about sacrifice?" I said. "Let's talk about theft." The room went silent. My sister's face went pale as I began to read aloud. Bank statements, transfers, the forged signature, every single detail laid bare in front of the people whose approval she craved most. Gasps filled the room. My mother's eyes welled with tears, not of confusion but of clarity. She understood. The truth she had shielded herself from was finally undeniable. My sister stammered, tried to deny it, tried to spin some story. But the evidence was too strong. Every excuse crumbled under the weight of hard numbers and signatures. The humiliation on her face was the sweetest moment of justice I've ever tasted. For once, she wasn't the golden child. She wasn't untouchable. She was just exposed. But I didn't stop there. With my mom's blessing, I went to the authorities. Forging signatures and stealing money isn't just immoral, it's criminal. My sister thought she'd get away with it because it was family. But family doesn't erase the law. Watching her face when the investigators showed up, when she realized this wasn't going to be swept under the rug, was a moment I'll never forget. For the first time, the roles were reversed. I was the one Mom looked at with pride. My sister was the one left scrambling, desperate, humiliated. She had betrayed us both, and now she had to face the consequences. I won't pretend it erased the pain. Nothing can undo the fact that in Mom's final days, she was forced to see the truth about her own daughter. But there was a strange comfort in knowing she left this world with her dignity intact. She knew who truly stood by her side, and who only saw her as a bank account. Looking back, I think about the word my sister used that day, dramatic. She thought exposing her betrayal made me dramatic. But if standing up for justice, if protecting the dignity of the woman who raised us makes me dramatic, then I'll wear that word like armor. Because sometimes drama is just the truth finally being spoken out loud. And to anyone listening who's ever been betrayed by family, I want you to remember this: blood might tie us together, but loyalty, love, and respect are what makes someone truly family. Betrayal cuts deepest when it comes from the people closest to us. But justice is the one thing that can make the wound hurt a little less. So tell me, have you ever seen someone finally get what they deserved after thinking they were untouchable? Because for me, that was the day my sister's mask shattered, and I will never forget the sound of it breaking. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button and share in the comments what you think is the most satisfying revenge. And of course, subscribe for more stories like this, because sometimes, the sweetest victory is simply telling the truth.